Oh, for goodness sakes. I'm out here in front of the house right now, and I'm putting in a flower bed. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's why I grabbed the camera, because I was thinking there are so many times that people don't do something because they say, well, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. No idea. I know it takes bricks. I know it takes dirt. But I'm just going to give it a shot. And eventually I'll figure it out. And that was my point of making this one to you. I was thinking about you guys because I see so often the people just not doing things because they say, well, I don't know how to do that. And you just start. You just start doing it. I'm gonna screw up right now. I am 100% gonna screw something up. And that's okay. That's normal. It's a requirement of life to screw up. And don't try and hide it either. But yeah, I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm thinking about you guys and I love you. 3 days later, we have a flower bed. Complete with garden gnome. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I've never built a flower bed before. But YouTube, a little bit of trial and error. I'm content with that. This is the kind of stuff I should be doing. This is great. And now that I figured it out, I'm gonna go do more. I think the backyard needs a flower bed. And my back is murdering me. So yeah, finish the flower bed. Hey girls. Yeah, I just got it in my head that I need a flower bed here. And I had that classic feeling of I don't know how to make one. So I hopped on the old YouTube and looked at a couple things. The toughest part was making the bottom bricks level. You have to make the bottom bricks level. That way all the ones above it will be level. And did a little drainage thing and it worked out. Red, white, and blue for the 4th of July because it's July 7th, 2025. I was, the 4th of July, I was looking out the window when I heard the fireworks and then I got a little choked up. I started thinking of you guys and I was thinking, I really hope like they're looking at these fireworks, the same ones I was looking at. And I was staring at them like, they're looking at these right now. That's what I told myself anyway. My throat is a little sore. I don't know what happened, but my throat all of a sudden felt like it had razor blades in it a couple days ago. And it's just been getting a little bit worse, but a little bit better. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, doing my projects. I love my projects. And then I always think when I do my projects, I'm like, someday they will see this. Whether it be the mountain or the flower bed or whatever it is. So, yeah. It's been an interesting couple weeks. I wanted to talk to you about something because something very painful happened for me. It was difficult, but it was a long time coming. A very, very dear friend of mine. I had to part ways with him, at least for the time being. And it's weighing on me heavily. You met him a long time ago, and I won't bother telling you who it is, but it was a discussion, a conversation, a talk I wanted to have with you guys. Because for the longest time in my life, I was dead set that you don't end relationships. You don't give up on people. And that it's a good idea on the surface, but it can get you into a lot of trouble. What happened with me was, when someone stumbles in life, someone has difficulties and needs to overcome some hurdles, there's different types of people that will show up in that person's life. There are the true friends that will say, I'm here for you no matter what. There are the people who are kind of indifferent, just kind of, meh. And then there are people who are genuinely happy that you have stumbled or that that person has stumbled. I had a lot of relationships like that because I never ended relationships. I wouldn't give up on anybody. That comes from my mother abandoning me as a child. And I made a vow to myself, to God, to the universe, that I would never give up on anybody. And slowly, over the past 4 years, I've learned that you have no choice in that. There are times when you have to let people go. It doesn't have to be permanent, but at the very least, you have to let people go before they hurt you. I equate it to people, in an ocean. Everyone's treading water. Some people know how to swim better than others. Some people don't know how to swim at all. And if you go over to somebody to try and keep them from drowning, eventually they will drown you. You have to be able to let them go. You have to pull a Rose in Titanic. There was room on that damn door. She could have let Jack on that door. So, I'll give you an example. Your Uncle Shane, I've known for years that he did not like the fact that I was succeeding in life, that I was doing well. He's never been a motivated person. He just kind of skates through life. And when I stumbled, he was the one that kicked me the hardest when I was down. He told Mom all kinds of lies about me, trying to make things worse. He was jumping on a bandwagon that was, hey, let's shit on JJ kind of a thing. And the fact that I was able to pull myself out of that hole, it really upset him. He holds a lot of resentment towards what he thinks is me. It's really toward himself. But because of it, he just kicked me while I was down. I don't know that we'll ever be able to get past that. I extended an olive branch to him a while back. Never heard from him. But that's the way that goes. But another friend of mine, I saw in his eyes, and I saw in the way that he talked, when all my crap went down, he had an inkling of joy. He helped me out, but I don't think he ever thought that I would pull myself out of this hole. And slowly but surely I did. And I saw more signs that he was becoming annoyed with my success after falling. And about a week ago, he finally crossed one of my boundaries, one of my limits that I have. What he did is not important, but he did it, I think he may have been drunk at the time. I'm fairly certain he was. I think he had been drinking. But that doesn't matter. You're still responsible for what you do when you drink. I can attest to that. It might be a reason that you did it, but you're still responsible. It's not an excuse. It doesn't excuse the actions. So I parted ways with him. Simply said goodbye, and that's it. And I've had to do that with a few different people now. A while back, a good friend of mine, a good friend of mine, I'm not certain who it was that passed on information to Mom, but it was one of two people, and I didn't care to find out who it was. Because at that point, so many people had lied to me and so many people had betrayed me. I was just like, I'm better off on my own, kind of a thing. And I am. I do better on my own simply for the same reason that I've told you 1,000 times, being an empath. When someone else is in pain or when someone else is struggling in any way, I feel it. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I have to part ways with people, maybe more than other people do. It sucks, but it's a reality. And I see very often, I saw it recently, negative influences in other people's lives. They won't part ways. They're comfortable in that relationship. Even though it's a toxic relationship, they're comfortable in it. Getting ready to go to work tomorrow, so getting messages. But, yeah. The negativity thing, it's really interesting because if anybody ever has to tell you that they are a positive person, huge red flag. like as big of a red flag as possible. When someone has to announce to you what they are, you can pretty much guarantee that they're not that, and they're the opposite of that. I don't have to go around telling people that I'm a pilot. People will find out I'm a pilot. I don't have to go around telling people that I am in shape. I'm in shape. People will find out that I enjoy working out. When someone has to tell you, like, I don't drink that much. Why are you telling me that? When someone has to say, I'm a really positive person. Why do you have to tell me that? Red flags when people have to announce things. The Game of Thrones, great show. Great line from that show was, any man who has to announce that he's king is no king. And it's true. A king or a queen doesn't have to say, I am a king. I am the king. No, people just know it. Anyway. So, yeah, 4 years though. I had my my 4-year anniversary of not drinking. And every year I go back to the same place that I went to a few nights after I stopped drinking. It was an AA meeting that I went to. And every year I go back. And it's kind of like nostalgic, just brings back memories. I was never an alcoholic, and I it's a bummer that I felt compelled to drink, but I never wanted to be a drinker. It was a cry for help. We don't need to go down that road right now, but yeah, 4 years, and I finally got to be me. I'm finally me with boundaries and with healthy boundaries and with a new lifestyle. I, I, I see people. It's Alcoholics Anonymous, so I don't want to say too much, but there was a person there that I remember from 4 years ago who's still there and struggling not to drink. Do you know what the secret is to not drinking? It's loving something else more than yourself. Something. It has to be something that you love more than yourself. And that's not just the key to not drinking. That's the key to success in life. People who just love themselves are never going to succeed in life because they'll never want to do anything else for anybody else. They'll just be consumed with themselves, their own emotions, and what's going on with them. And so they will just sit there and indulge in either their own pity or their own pleasure or whatever it is. But once you love something more than you love yourself, having accomplishments like that comes easy. Find something that you love more than yourself. You should love yourself. Don't get me wrong. Gotta love yourself. And of course, the definition of love, I'll probably say it every time I make a video. Love is giving your life energy to something else or someone else. You generally don't want to make those things inanimate objects. Somebody who says, I love my car, and spends all their energy on their car, well, that car's not going to love you back. But if you say, hey, I love my kids, you expend as much energy as you can on your kids, and then hopefully they'll have a desire to return that love. But I literally heard somebody say the other day, you're going to be turning 18 soon. You got to get out. Well, that's not exactly expending your energy on your kids. Prepare them. Prepare your kids to move out. Don't just tell them it's coming. Don't frighten them. Make it so that they are ready to move out. You expend that energy on them. Then they're ready to go move out. And, I'll do it. I'll go ahead and do it. My co-pilots. I don't just say, hey, next month you're upgrading to captain. Get ready. I make it so they already are captains before they upgrade to captain. And so that when they make that transition, they've already been doing everything that a captain needs to do. They're just literally switching seats. Yeah, expend that energy on something that hopefully can give it back to you. Don't expect it back, but hopefully you'll get it in return. Not always, though. Love one another. So I love you, right? So I'm rambling because the parting ways with my friend. It's been weighing on me heavily. And I think the reason it's weighing on me is because I'm wondering what the hell he's going through that he had to be so negative. But I tried to show him a different way of life so the negativity would go away. And he didn't have any interest. But that's the empath in me. I wonder, my God, what's going on with this guy? How can I help him? I can't. People have to want to help themselves. But I was thinking about the love one another as I love you, what Jesus taught us. I got into a discussion with somebody about the Bible. And you might run into this. As you go on in life, you'll see people who are consumed with the Bible in a way that I don't think is healthy. Because I was talking about the story of Adam and Eve, and how each of us, the story is there, in my opinion, to tell us that each of us is going to have an apple that's presented to us. Each of us. And somebody will offer us that apple. We might see somebody else take a bite of that sin, a sin. And it looks good, and it looks tasty, but we know it's wrong. That's what the story's telling us. I said that to somebody, and they said, so you don't think the story of Adam and Eve is real? And then I'm like, well, that's not the point. Then they said, wait. Are you saying you don't think the Bible is real? I said, okay, hold on. The Bible's real. It's there. It's there. It is a real book. Do I believe it's literal? No. Not all of it is literal. There's a lot of it that is. I believe that the Gospels, the stories of Jesus Christ's life, I believe those are literal stories. But Jesus himself, when he spoke to people, he didn't speak literally. He spoke in stories to teach people a lesson. So, the story of the prodigal son, is that a true story? Could be, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the story is real. What matters is the lesson. In that story, one son goes off and blows his fortune, the other one stays at home and works for the father. And then when that son who blew his fortune comes back home, the father has a huge party. And the son who stayed at home is like, hey, you never gave me a party. What the hell, man? I crack myself up. The lesson in that story is to rejoice when someone else returns to God. When someone who has fallen off the path returns to the path of God, we are supposed to rejoice. Because they're going to be given gifts. When someone returns to the path of God, they will be given gifts. I don't deserve any of this. And there are some people who don't rejoice. They get mad. Like, how come he's getting stuff? Instead, they should rejoice that God is giving gifts to all of us. So people get wrapped up and say, you don't believe the story of Adam and Eve is true? Okay. I believe that the Bible is real in that it is there through God to teach us lessons. What's a famous story? The girl who cried wolf. Is the story real? Maybe. Does it matter? No. It doesn't matter if the story is real or not. The story is there to teach us, don't cry wolf. You're gonna end up burning yourself or getting hurt really bad if you cry wolf, because eventually no one will believe you. If I told that story to someone and they said, well, is that story real? It's like, oh, it's not the point. Did you get the message? Remember the video of Eddie Griffin? Did you get the message? Love one another as I loved you. It's what he said. So, with regard to the Bible, with regard to anything, understand what the gist is that's trying to be conveyed to us. Whatever it is. Gonna do it again. Pilots. We have a book. There's a book back there. I'm not even going to grab it because I don't like the book. The book is the Federal Aviation Regulations, the FARs, FARs. And it's that thick of legal stuff. The rules we have to abide by when we fly airplanes. And there are people, pilots, who can recite you the code. 135.293 says this. 121.297 says this. and it never fails. When I have a co-pilot who can recite code numbers to me, they suck at flying because their entire existence is the legal ease of the regulation and not the gist of what's going on. I'll give you an example. Our jobs as pilots is two things: safety, passenger comfort. In that order. Safety, operate safely, passenger comfort. And the FARs dictate both of those, believe it or not. So there's a regulation, it's a big one, that says below 10,000 feet, if you're flying below 10,000 feet, you cannot fly faster than 250 knots. Why? Okay, well, that's the question to ask yourself. Why? Does something magical happen below 10,000 feet where if you go 251 knots, your airplane's going to explode? No! What it is that's where most of the planes are. They're down low. So it's a traffic jam. And they don't want people blasting around at 500 knots in a traffic jam because eventually two planes are going to touch. And that's the essence of all the federal aviation regulations. Thou shalt not let two airplanes touch. That's it. That's the gist. I heard that a long time ago, and I like that. Thou shalt not let two airplanes touch. And that's when two airplanes touch, one of the regulations wasn't followed. Now, back to the 250 knot thing. I've seen pilots, and I don't intervene unless something bad's about to happen. But we'll be at 15,000, 18,000. We get assigned an altitude below 10,000, and they will start down. And I'm just there. If they want me to do something, I will do something. But I don't micromanage. I let them make their decisions. And they're coming down, they're doing their thing, and inevitably, occasionally, they will get distracted. And they're doing 300 knots. Here comes 10,000 feet, and they're just about to hit it. And then they have the, oh my God! There's one of two reactions you can have. If you're to compare it to driving, if you're driving down the freeway and you're doing 75 miles an hour, okay, 75, that's the speed limit, and then you see a sign pass you, 55 miles an hour. Do you think you should just slam on the brakes and get it down to 55? No! You're gonna... Number one, if you got passengers, you're like a Lyft driver or something, you're going to scare the shit out of them. The passenger or the drivers behind you, they're going to slam on their brakes. It just creates chaos. So in an airplane, do you think you should just like throw out the speed brakes and throw your flaps out, chop the power to idle? No. Get the gist. It's like, oh shit. I forgot to slow down. Let's go ahead and slowly bring the throttle back. Let's pitch up a little bit. Ease the airplane back. We don't need to just go, slamming on the brakes. Pull a Top Gun.
When you hit the brakes, you'll fly right by. Woo! Jesus Christ.
That kind of thing. No, don't need to do that. The gist is get to about 250 knots below 10,000. If you're doing 260, no biggie. Is a cop going to pull you over on the freeway if you're doing 60 miles an hour when the speed limit's 55? No. Get the gist. People, I've seen, no kidding, I've seen people, I know I'm really beating this one to death. It's an annoyance for me. Because I'll be doing like 255 knots at 9,000 feet. And I got a-holes over there. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. Shut up. Anyway, I got back. I just got back before I started recording. I recorded the flower bed thing, and then I had to go over to the YMCA here, and I met with the general manager because something inspired me. I don't know what. Like, I've had this personal trainer thing for 2 years, and something inspired me, like, put it to use. So I met with the general manager, and it looks like I'm going to be being a part-time personal trainer at the Y. It's going to be fun. I enjoy teaching people. It's like what I do. It's what I do best, is teaching people. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Thank you. I enjoy the gym environment. There are good people there. There are good people, and I enjoy it because, one, I can go there and get out all of my frustrations. But two, over the past couple of years, people come up to me and they ask me questions, and I enjoy. I don't tell them. I haven't told anybody. Like, I'm a personal trainer. I'm a therapist. No, I just share knowledge with them, and I do my best to let them discover their own answers. I never want to just give people answers. You don't want to do that. So, what's interesting though is I thought this too. I used to think, oh shit, sorry. I used to think that what are referred to as gym bros, the big muscly guys, there's this, like, what do you call that, a stereotype, that they're all a bunch of, like, cocky a-holes. And nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, there's the occasional. There's always the exception to the rule. Hold on. Let's see. I saw this video. Just made me think of it. Gym bro life. There we go. What gym bros are really like. There we go.
I've been going to the gym for 3 days now.
Hold on. Slow down.
Every dude is a...
Oh, for goodness sake, Tina Frimmel. I love Tina.
This guy proved that not every dude is a creep.
I've been going to the gym for 3...
This one. So this little girl has been going to the gym for a little while. And her perception of the gym was different than what reality was.
I've been going to the gym for 3 days now for the first time ever because I always thought it would be scary. And there are a bunch of big muscly dudes there. Scary, right? No, because as soon as they're done lifting the weights, they all go over to the mirror together and they make these muscle poses and they're like, your arms are so big and strong. No, your arms are so big and strong. They have these things, I'm not lying to you, this is real, called pump covers. Apparently when you haven't worked out for a day or so, like, your muscles look a little smaller. And so these guys show up to the gym wearing super baggy sweatshirts and stuff. They're like, don't look at me, like, don't look at my muscles right now. And then, when they're a couple reps in, they take their sweatshirts off and they're like, okay.
The reveal. It's called the reveal.
They make friends there. There's this thing called spotters, where a guy goes up to another guy and he's like, I think this weight might be too heavy for me. Can you watch and make sure I'm safe? And then they take turns and one guy lifts the weight and the other guy's like, you got this, one more rep. And then if he doesn't have it, he helps him out and he's like, oh, you were so close, I just know it, you'll do better next time. The gym is so fun.
This is so true. The pump covers are real. It's not just to get worked out in a day. It's just we want to get some blood flow, and then we feel good about showing off the body. But it takes us usually about 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 sets, and then we take the pump cover off. Every guy that tried to get into lifting to get girls' attention, once they find out that all they'll get is other guys' attention, they're a little disappointed at first, but then we just kind of accept it. That was a great depiction of what the gym is actually.
So that's what a gym bro's like, right there. That guy, a sweetheart of a guy. Yes, there are going to be some a-holes that are on steroids. The way it goes. But the vast majority are like that. They're the nicest group of people. Now, they keep to themselves because they're usually kind of like me. They're introverts. I don't really like interacting with people very much unless I already know them, which is a catch-22 because I can't get to know them until I interact with them, and I can't interact with them until it's a mess. But the people, people ask me to spot them. People ask me, like, how did you do this? How'd you do that? And never be afraid of the gym. If you're having difficulties in life, there is no difficulty in your life that can't be solved by going to the gym. I realize that is a bold statement, but it's true. It is absolutely true. As far as the pump covers, it's absolutely true. And I go there, and when I first go there, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel sexy. I don't feel attractive. I feel fat. I feel flabby. And then I'll get, my first 4 or 5 sets, and then I'm like, all right. And it's not that I just think I'm like amazing, but I feel good enough, like he said, to at least take it off and now just start working out. It's important to know, same thing, it's important to know the why. Always ask yourself the why of why you do things. It's very, very along those lines. Asking yourself the why. I'm going to share something with you. It was embarrassing. Not really. Oh, my stomach's growling. It's almost time to eat. I got a steak marinating. Very excited about that. Pull it together, Dad. I'm working on it. There's a lot going on in my head as always. The YMCA, my friend. But we always ask yourself why. Why? So, about a month ago, something like that, I was going to the bathroom. Number one. What do guys do when they go number one? Stand up, right? I'm on this kick of asking myself the why of everything. And I asked myself, why am I standing to pee? Why? What I know it dribbles, it gets on the floor, it splashes. Girls get really pissed off about that, as you should. That's a legitimate thing to get pissed off about if it doesn't get cleaned up. And so, randomly one night, I sat down. And I'm going to be honest with you, girls. Ever since that night, I'm not going back to standing up. It is so much better to sit down. I have no idea. Now, at a urinal, I get that. And I think that's where it came from. I think that's where that came from, is urinals. Because you stand to pee at a urinal. Boys do it. Well, if a girl uses a urinal, you're going to stand up. But one thing I noticed is that, and I know, weird topic, Dad, I know, but it encompasses the why. Because something that always happened was the dribble at the end. That happened when I stood. When I would sit and relax and ponder like the thinker, no more dribble. My bladder completely releases. I'm more comfortable. I've had a nice little sit down. It used to be a running joke with me and Mom, Honey, what are you doing in there? You waiting for a bus? What's going on? It's just you look like you're sitting at a bus stop. You'd have to be there. You ask yourself the why. The why. Along those same lines. I know I'm all over the place today. I saw a video with regard to women. with regard to women being lonely. And am I going to find it? Probably not. Wow, my stomach is pissed. No. No, I'm probably not going to find it. Let's try this. But I saw something in it that really concerned me. How about playlists?
I've had three concussions.
That's
in my
Nate
life,
Bargatze.
None of them because of sports. Just
Nate Bargatze is one of my favorite comedians these days. Let's try it. This. Oh well. I don't think I'm gonna find it now. But it really upsets me because I see these women who are lonely. And they're lonely because men have checked out. Men have just gotten to a point where they're like, I don't even want to date anymore. The people to blame for that are female divorce attorneys. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. The reason men have completely checked out is because of what female divorce attorneys will do to the men once a woman becomes upset. No, that's not it. Is this it? We'll see. What goes on, and I'm saying this because, you know, I went to my class a few days ago, and I was hearing about the divorce attorneys in those men's life. And it's always women. It's never men. It's always these female divorce attorneys that are making them go, I'm done, I'm out. In any case.
See anyone talking about, and it's the female loneliness epidemic.
How to be single and how to not hate every minute of it.
Getting married and having babies never crossed my mind. It was never a priority until all of my friends started doing it.
Okay. So with regard to the loneliness epidemic, it concerns me because I see your guys' future being destroyed right in front of you by women who just are consumed with getting satisfaction right now and not thinking about what happens further down the road, which, by the way, is a sign of psychopathy. A psychopath does not take into consideration future consequences. They just think about right now, their satisfaction right now. But this is the other reason that women are lonely, and she says it and doesn't even realize it.
Every minute of it.
Getting married and having babies never crossed my mind. It was never a priority until all of my friends started doing it.
Getting married and having babies was never a priority and never crossed my mind until all of my friends started doing it. Who's making the decisions in that woman's life? Because it's not her. She bases all of her decisions, a decision as much as having children and getting married, is based off of her friends' decisions and actions. This is why women are lonely. Because the other thing women do is go off, hire a female divorce attorney, and then destroy men's lives, and then other women see that and go, oh, I'll do that too. They're tied together. Women are not making their own decisions. They are not thinking for themselves. They're perfectly capable of it, but they're not doing it. They are consumed with appearances. Oh, my friends are doing it, so that means I have to do it too. It's absolutely disheartening. Bums me out. And there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is sit here and try and encourage you through these videos to make your own decisions. Ask yourself the why.
Crossed my mind. It was never a priority until all of my friends started doing it.
That is so sad. You will never hear a man say that. You will never hear a man say, well, I didn't think about doing this until all of my friends started doing it. Maybe you might find one. Maybe. But I've shown you the videos of women dressing exactly the same, getting the same haircut. Once their friends are having babies and getting married, then they want to do it. They're not making their own decisions. Why? Ask yourself why you're making these decisions. Ask yourself, why am I standing to pee? Why? Go ahead and make fun of me. I don't care. It's comfortable. All right, I'm going to wrap things up. I got my steak that is just sitting there, and I can smell it. Once we get smell-o-vision, you can smell the steak marinating. It's delicious. All right, that's enough of that. I head out to work only for a 2-day stint tomorrow, and then I'm just trying to think about what I got coming up, but not much. All right. Always ask yourself the whys. Why? Why? And really think about it. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It's okay to have made a mistake. It's not okay to try and cover up the mistake by saying that you didn't do it. Say you did it, and then you're going to fix it. Why did I do that? With regard to, my friend that I said goodbye to. I would hope he would ask himself the why he did that. And I would hope he would come to the answer that doesn't resort to him saying, I didn't do anything wrong. God will never tell you you didn't do anything wrong. God will always tell you, you can do that better. It's the bad guy who will tell you that you didn't do anything wrong. Trust me. I've lived it. All right, girls, go out, love one another, just the same way that I'm loving you right now. Because I'm thinking about you guys and missing you, and I would give anything to...